Awesome! Alright, so I had this like huge epiphany and I really want to share it because that was like one of the coolest things ever. And it's the idea of like a ship, right? So you have, Europe over here and you've got like the New World over here. And I'm like, I think it's probably in my head because we're learning it again and again and again. It's just ridiculous, right? But this idea that like, you've got a whole country of people over here. And of this country, you have a very select few. And obviously there's like, the poor class that has to come over to like work. And they're coming over here basically because they're forced to get a new life or because they just don't have any money. But there's this other whole class of individuals that are sort of at the top of society, and they're the ones that are absolutely crushing it. They're the ones that are actually, paying out the cash to get on these boats, to build these boats, and in some cases, get on them and then come over here and have a whole new life in the New World. And the idea, right, is that there's tons and tons of untapped profit potential over in this new world. They could just go out there and explore, right? And then if they could, they go over to America, and it's like the best thing ever, right? At least in the long term, not the short term. That's okay, because the focus, right, is on the journey to get there. The focus is on what you do here to empower yourself to actually move that next level, to move and to grow and to succeed. And so I was thinking about this concept, and it was specifically, I was thinking like most importantly about this ship, because think about like the ship, it's the most important. This journey was like literally months and months, like years, or like a year to like travel across the Atlantic, and everything came down to the ship, right? And so I'm thinking about this concept, and I'm hustling hard, I'm having a fun time, having a great time, getting education, putting in the work, having a good time, building up a base. Because you see what these guys did that actually allowed them to go and to create this ship and to go on this journey is they put a ton of work in while they were in England, right? And so they did everything in their power to get their money and to create tons of value. And through that process, they were able to have a huge level of impact on the marketplace, a level of impact great enough, obviously, that they got enough value out of it to go out to build a boat and to fill the boat with people and to get a group together to go over to this huge journey to like the New World, right? Which I just think is so crazy. And so it all comes, this whole boat, this whole journey, this whole voyage comes because a very small subset of individuals who are the wealthier individuals in the actual society at the time. Those individuals decided, they were going to put in the extra work, put in the extra time, put in the extra effort, and actually accrue tons of wealth. And as soon as they did that, they did something that was just absolutely amazing. They took that surplus at the top, they freaking built a huge ship out of it, and then reinvested it. And what's cool is, they go over here, and then they have success here, maybe they don't, but usually, they go and have success here, and then that turns into more and more, right? But the only reason that they're actually in a position right here to make that investment and to build that ship and to take that journey and to make the bet on going across this treacherous journey, right? The only reason they actually believe to this point right here is because they've already put in tons of work here to add enough value so that they're actually able to do this, right? Like, you can't just have the peasants on the street building ships, because here's the deal, right? If you want to build your ship, you gotta put in a lot of work, but it's not just work on the ship, right? The first thing, at the very foundation of everything, are the people, right? So if you can't find a group of people, if you can't find a friend group, you need to have a group of individuals that are following you, either metaphorically or physically, getting on a boat and traveling, across the world with you, right? So that was one of the first things that these like leading pioneer individuals had to do. Now after that, obviously they had to actually make the boat, because you cannot leave harbor until you've built the foundation, until you've built the transport, until you've built your boat. And so there's a lot of work, obviously, on their part and on others' parts, that he would have other people build your boat, because boats are kind of big, at least, if you're thinking about like a sizable boat. You gotta have a whole team, you have to have a group, you have to have everyone come together to focus on one single thing, and that one single thing is building like the physical boat, right? Like the physical boat is super important. And so this might take a long time. So think about this in terms of like what you're doing, right? Maybe you're in school, maybe you're in college, maybe you're working towards some sort of education, maybe you're working towards some sort of new investment in yourself that you make in personal development. Like, that's basically similar to what these guys are doing. They're building their boat. So what you're doing, right, is it's like, think of it like investing in your education, right? You're building your boat. Your boat might not be a physical boat, but your boat is in your mind, right? And so as soon as you finish your boat, you graduate, and then you go and you start your journey to to the end goal, whatever that end goal is, right? For these guys, it was America. For others, it might be retirement, right? And this journey is very, very, very long, but it doesn't have to be as long as it takes to build this boat. You know, you can build a boat, I don't know how long it takes to build a boat, but at the time, I don't know, maybe it takes a couple of months to build a boat, year, couple to make that journey. And so at the beginning, you're putting in a very, very, very compressed amount of work and effort to build your boat, right? And so that's like the second part. You have your group of people that you're building relationships with and you're connecting with, and that group of people is going to allow you to make this actual journey with a team. And then after you have your people, you have your boat, which is super, super, super powerful. But then what's really interesting is this idea of like intimate connections, right? Because when you get over to this new world, right? Be it, you know, physically an entire new continent or personally an entire new stage of your life. Like you've got to have family, you have to have connections, you have to have strong personal bonds with close family, right? So with spouse or whatever, like all of that gets done over here, right? You find, you know, the husband, the wife, whatever, or here, but while you're building your boat, and then you get on the boat with the group and you make the journey. You look at like the Mayflower, you look at some of the earliest colonial expeditions. Like they were literally having kids on the boat because these people on the boat already are couples, right? They're already together. Because once you get over here, like they're not gonna want to date, you know, at least most of them, like the Indians of African or the Indian Americans, right? It just, at the time it wasn't like, it didn't make sense culturally. And so, at least in most cases. And so, like, for most people, right, while you're building your boat, while you're building your ship, it's not just building the physical thing, it's not just building the core concept, it's building the key concept, you're also building that community around you that's going to embark on that journey to this end destination, this end goal, which is just like ridiculously powerful, and it all stems from putting in the work at the beginning right here, because you have to put in the work to actually have a means to do this, right? This is not easy, you know? But you put in a dedicated amount of work here, you can build this ship before maybe anybody else does, you can get to this new opportunity before maybe anybody else does, and you can reap the profits of that opportunity better than anybody else does, because you put in more work at the beginning to actually build that boat, build that community, build those connections and relationships, and then take the journey, and then make it to that end goal, right? Doesn't matter what it is, be personal, professional. It's all like this journey in the middle. This journey in the middle takes the longest, but it's significantly easier to just, you know, steer a boat in most cases, unless you're trying to navigate it, which is kind of harder. But like for most people on the boat, they're just kind of sitting there. And so all the work that goes in here, especially if you were like the guy who was actually making this boat, probably like a navigator, right? You're just chilling out here having, you know, a boat ride. Or over here, you're putting in a ton of work. And that work, it allows you at a certain point, once you have all the foundations in place, to step back. So right here, maybe, we'll do this in red. So maybe say like your output and your effort and your energies and everything you're doing, right? You're going like full speed, 100%. And then down here it'd be like 0%, right? And so at the beginning you're going super, 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 super hard. And then you get to this inflection point right here. And at this inflection point you have your boat, you have your tribe, you have your group, and you realize that now it's a lot. So at the beginning, you know, you're navigating the water, but it gets easier and easier and easier as you go through this journey. And then at a certain point in the journey, it kind of levels off, and it's maybe, you know, 20% is difficult. But over time, it becomes much more easier. Like your base responsibilities of making it happen, or creating the income, or learning about what you need to learn to create this boat, or creating the relationship, like that stuff has been done. And so the stuff that you're used to doing, suddenly the responsibilities become less and less and less and less. And at the same time, what happens is just ridiculously awesome, is that while your old responsibilities fade away, now the things that you never even thought you would deal with at 0%, they start to come up, And what's cool is that these new duties, these new responsibilities, these new ways that are gonna push you to your limits, push you to do more, push you to be more, push you to like actually go to your max. This stuff right here is going to be so much more impactful than what you're originally doing. And there's this inflection point right here, this shift in the middle of the journey, as you're getting to that goal, as you're getting to that destination, where all of a sudden you've been rolling this snowball down the hill for years and years and years and years. And it gets to this one point where now it starts to roll on its own. And instead of dealing with how am I gonna push this snowball down the hill anymore, now it's all on its own. You don't have to worry about it. It's a flywheel system. It's happening by itself. And now you get to worry about higher level problems. You get to worry about stuff like, what are you going to tell the press when your snowball runs over the village? What are you going to tell them when you get the world's largest snowball, right? You have bigger problems, higher level, higher impact. And this doesn't have to happen over the course of years. This can happen over the course of months. This can also happen over the course of decades. But it all comes down to this one concept, a very, very condensed period of work, moving into a vessel and a vehicle that goes and then brings these results as you go through a voyage to this end result. And as you make that voyage, you're gonna get to an inflection point where you have brand new challenges, brand new motivations, brand new levels of impact that you can have. And then what's insanely cool is that this whole thing starts over. So now you're right here and you're at a level that's much higher than when you originally started. So take this whole idea and then scale it up. And you're starting the whole process over, but you're starting it up way, way, way higher. And what it does is like, not only are you gonna have great achievements, but it's also like an insanely powerful way to actually build up confidence, right? So think about it in terms of, you know, how you're growing up. You're growing up and you're going and you're going and you're going. What it does is it lets you move into that next level of actual self-achievement, which is gonna build up your confidence more and more and more and more. And so instead of it just being like a linear curve up, it's a geometric curve where you're getting more and more confidence to do what you actually love and what you're actually passionate about. And then as soon as that happens, everything becomes so much easier because you're going right up, right? So the beginning, just like the beginning here was the hardest part, the beginning in the long term, the beginning is you start to compound these over onto one another over and over again. The beginning, you know, the first one, or the second one, or the third one, those are gonna be the toughest ones if you're looking at scales of maybe 10 or 20 or 30 of them. Because all the work is concentrated, getting this versatile part right here, and then it's so much easier to multiply this over and over and over again through voyages, through ventures, through ships, through travels. It doesn't matter what the vehicle is, it's all about the end result. So really, 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 really powerful stuff here, guys. Hope you really enjoyed it. Go out there, apply it, absolutely crush it. Because I think this is the coolest. Like, it's just kind of thought of this, and it's powerful shit. So thank you guys so much. Hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.